And there we go. Welcome everybody to the Sunday Builds. We got a new face in here. We'd like to introduce you guys to Mr. Tim Ryan. Say hey to everybody, Tim.
Hello, everyone.
It's not really an interview, but Tim, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself. I know that Jason was saying that you don't do much YouTube stuff or don't have a channel or any of that, but if you want to share, please do. If you don't, tell me to shut up and I'll leave you alone.
No, the only thing I do is Instagram. That's okay. And my model club, Classic Plastic on Facebook. I post stuff on there, but that's it really. Instagram, I always post my builds and progress and all that stuff. I'm not I call myself a box stock plus.
Okay.
I like to take a model out of the box. Not into the cutting it up and adding a chassis like you guys were talking about. Usually I change the wheels, wire the distributors, maybe add some other stuff to it. But that's it. That's what I like to build. I enjoy that. Every now and then I get the inkling to try something else. And, I've built a couple of motorcycles. I have another motorcycle I want to build, that new Ming BMW, which is very nice.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about it. I've heard the Ming models are just in general, the Ming kits are supposed to be really, really, really good kits. I'm looking forward to getting a Ming kit myself. And I've heard about those motorcycles. Our friend Rob Adams from the Insanity podcast, he's built a couple of those and said they're really, really nice kits.
Yeah, this looks to be nice. I mean, I've only built a few motorcycles, but this thing looks really, really nice. I watched a few build-ups on it, and nobody had any complaints about fitment or nothing, and it looks really nice when it's all done.
Sweet.
Good deal.
Yeah.
What's going on, everybody in the chat? I'm like way behind here. Fiji's in the chat. What's up, Brian? Billy Strange, Sam. How are you, Sam? Chet, Ted.
Everybody's in here.
Shaggy, Tiffany.
Yeah.
Boy, they're all in here. Terry Wilson. What's going on, Terry Wilson? Stephen Kessel.
BG, if you're off work, let me send you a link. Can you hang out with us?
So where is it? Oh, right there. So Ted, I don't think the new podcast is out, but we did squeeze your model show on there, and there was a discount code for free hugs from you. So you might get some people looking for free hugs.
Okay.
Swamp Cabbage.
Tin
Oh,
Mints.
BG, I was see if BG wanted to come in, but he's cooking Easter dinner. He is such a good man. I want to get me a man like that. Oh, did I just say that?
You did. Surely you did.
Okay, let's rewind that a little bit.
Don't worry, you can cut that out at the end, right?
Nope, it's live. Nope, it's live. It's out there. It's in
You're
the
right,
world.
though. BG is a good man.
He is a good man for sure. He is. He got lucky. I say he got lucky. His skills, and he's going to work for Andy's at Andy's Hobby headquarters. They took a picture of him. I believe it was Matt that took a picture of him. He's standing all nice and proud. I'm like, all hail King BG. He's just
standing there like Super BG. Is what
right, Super BG.
That's a dangerous place to work.
Yeah.
Right?
I did warn him that to make sure he came home with a paycheck. I needs to come home with actual money.
Yeah.
He's going to have to work 1 week just to pay back what he spent the week before, or at least I would. That's the way I would be.
Yeah, that place could be very, very dangerous.
It's like when I used to work at a performance part store that sold performance parts.
Yeah.
At the end of the week, I was usually in debt.
Yeah.
Get out of there.
My days are going fast, are long gone.
Right? Same here. Same here. If I feel like I want to go zooming around and feel like I'm going fast, I'll just jump on the Harley and go for a spin and come back. You really don't go more than 60, 65 miles an hour, but with the wind in your face, you feel like you're hauling booty.
Yep. I think I was the only guy I know that had a big block Chevelle with a 4-speed that I'd leave the driveway, I'd wind up first gear and go right in the fourth and just cruise for the rest of the afternoon.
if I'm wanting to buy a big hopped up motor, I just give VCG or Joel or one of those guys a call and be like, "Hey, send me a blown Hemi. I'm feeling like I want to go fast today."
Yeah, exactly. The first Chevelle had a blown small block in it, and I used to drag race it. And I got tired of the racing and working on it and all that stuff, so I sold it, and I bought a Toyota 4-cylinder 4x4. So I went where I could pass 4 cars in half a second to I couldn't pass 4 cars in 4 days.
Right. Yeah, but you could go anywhere.
Yeah, that was it. That was the key, and I did.
That's funny. Oh, look at you with the putting on the Optivisor and the headphones.
Yeah, I know, right? This is skilled stuff right here.
It really is.
I've been hanging out in the Discord, man. I'm trying to figure all this stuff out.
So what's everybody working on?
Well, Tim's the new guy, so we'll let him start.
I am working on my my Chrysler police car.
Oh, nice.
I'll show you my Chrysler. I wet sanded and polished it this morning.
Hang on just a second, Tim. Let me get you up on the big screen.
Yeah. Let's see what you got.
Boo, 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 boo. Hang on, I'm getting you there. Solo layout. There he is.
That's it.
Look at that black paint, dude.
Holy moly.
So it's getting there, and all I got left is the engine. The interior's all got all the police stuff in it.
Oh, that is so cool.
That is cool.
I took a Lindbergh Crown Victoria police car, and I stole all the police gear out of it. And I always thought this car is kind of sleek looking. So I said, that would look awful cool as like a highway patrol car.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So it's got the push bar. Where's the push bar? The push bar fits on it perfect. Let me see if I can do that. So the push.
Push.
I
Oh,
can't-
there it is.
Yeah. So
Look at that.
So that'll look good with the grill in it, all painted black.
Hell yeah.
And I got 20s and 21s for it, Chrysler wheels.
Oof. Hell
So it's
yeah.
going to sit low and look good. And then I just got to put a big whip antenna on it.
Nice.
I'm finishing the chassis and the engine now. And then I'm hoping in a few days it'll be done.
Hell yeah.
I just thought it would look the cool as a police car. I don't know.
I agree.
I
I
had
think it will.
license plates made for it there. In Massachusetts, official plates are light blue. So the plates on it just say run with a question mark.
Nice.
So I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's getting there. I have to finish it because I got another big project I really want to start. So get myself in gear and finish this.
Well,
What do you got,
Florida.
Jason?
Go ahead. Just
I was gonna say, so that's where I'm at with this Blazer, right? I need to get this thing finished. It's been 2 weeks since I've touched it. And not only do I have other things I want to start building, but I'm starting to lose my gusto for it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's been sitting too long untouched, and I'm like, the distraction to start something else has started to kick in. So this is going to be my main focus, is hopefully get this thing done within the next, 2 or 3 weeks. So I can get on to something cool. I really want to start building that Mercedes, and I've got, starting June 1st, my Street Machine Group build starts. So
don't remind me.
I
I
get all
still have
kinds of-
last year's.
I was going to say, are you going to wrap last year's into this year?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to have to do. Just call me Matt. Just call me Matt.
Yeah.
Well, with me is I get about 30 days, and then I lose interest, and it goes in a box, and it never gets touched again. So I don't have a lot of my attention span is very short.
Yes.
Well, my problem is if I build them out of the box, I would do a lot better. But I get started on one or I look at one and I'm like, it's like we were talking before the show. Okay, we'll make this chassis go underneath it and this and that. So the next one I'm going to build after this dirt car is BG's build, which is that little N360 Honda. And I think short of the wheels, I've got some Hiroshima wheels. I think short of the wheels, I'm just going to build it right out of the box.
Yeah. I built that kit. It's a nice little kit.
Yeah, it's a cool little car.
Yeah. Yeah, I built one a few years ago.
Yeah. I thought so. Tim and I are pretty much on the same page as build wise, right? I have like kit bashed a bunch of stuff, but I really just love to do, something out of the box and change the minor stuff. Change the wheels and tires, maybe add, a different engine, but that's about it.
Dang, I need to check the chat. Shaggy's in the house. Mr. Underwood's here. Chet, I guess we talked to Chet. Mr. Henry's here. What's up, Fred?
Fred Henry's here.
Yep.
Holy cow, look at that. Happy Easter, Fred.
Jimmy from Kit Bass Customs is here. The Swede is in the house. What's up, Jimmy? Donnie Griffith and Tiffany. Yeah, the chat's rolling.
This is
Sam,
good.
That's it.
This is good.
But we are one wheel short today. Justin is doing family stuff here on Easter. We certainly can't hold him back for that. But those of you that coming in late, Mr. Tim Ryan is joining us. And I think, Tim, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you're going to be a regular on our Sunday show. Is that what I heard?
That's the plan. We'll see how it goes. See if I'm welcome back or not.
I'm sure you will be. Listen, we've always got Justin. Justin is the shenanigans starter. So
I was just gonna say, if Justin comes back every week, you'll be back every week.
You'll be good. Yeah.
Springs.
I can say with confidence this police car I'm building was not painted with Rust-Oleum.
Well, that's good. Justin will love you then.
Right, because he is the Rust-Oleum police.
Yep. I've heard him. I've heard him on some of the web pages and stuff, some Facebook stuff.
Yeah, I saw another one of those Rust-Oleum comments on Luca's page, and the first 25 comments were like, "Oh, here we go again. Here we go again. Here we go again." I'm like,
okay, so I got a question that I have to answer, which means I have to get up and get stuff. So hold on, Brad. Give me 1 second.
Mike, what are you working on?
I have been working on it's the AMT 71 Richard Petty short track Dodge Dart.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, and I've been working on it. This literally since we started this deal on Sundays. Part of the reason for starting this deal on Sundays was so I would work on it.
Yeah,
I got to get it done. I got to get it done by the end of April because our group build's over and starts over again in May. So I got to make sure to get this one done to start the next one.
So before I address this question from Brad Underwood, I have a question for you. Have you finished any group builds?
Me?
Yeah.
No. Well, not in history, but yes, in history, yes, but not the last three.
Oh, no, that's fine. I was just unsure if you had finished any. So you're fine. You've finished group builds before. You're good.
Yeah, I have before. I'm just the Jason Street Machine group build and the 68 Dart group build. I am currently behind on.
That's fine. And the circle track one.
Well, technically, the circle track one's not due yet.
This is true.
So I'm not behind on that.
Okay, so you're only down two.
I'm only
okay.
Down.
So Brad Underwood, question for me. Watch my video on wet sanding primers. What kind of primer do I use? So I want to start this by saying you can go to the automotive store and get. Oh my gosh, help me out, Mike. Who makes the sandable filler primer that you can buy in a can at like O'Reilly's? Dupla-Color. Thank you.
Yeah.
So you can use that if you want to. That works really good. That's what it's designed for. It's designed to be sanded down. However, what I use is, hold on, don't touch me, Mike. I don't want you to make me big.
I'm not touching you.
I got it. Okay. So I use this, to me, a fine surface primer. Or I've just started using this Mr. Finisher Surfacer 1500, which this is what that is.
I love that stuff.
Tim can back me up. He also wet sands his primer. And, what did I do?
Top right.
There we go. Tim also wet sands his primer, and he uses the same system that I do, and it works out pretty well, actually. In some cases, you can get primer to be so smooth that you can just clear coat it if you choose, and use that as your color.
Yeah. Let me. I'll show him my Dodges gray primer clear coated. Hang on.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I've seen guys do that. The Army or the military guys will do that with their stuff. They'll primer it and slick it up.
So this, I'm going to mask off just the top, the back top, and then I'm going to clear coat this already. I still have to sand it though, so to get a shiny black, because I just want black. I don't want a black metallic. I don't want a black pearl. I don't want any of that stuff.
Just black.
And it's already black, right? So what's the sense of putting another coat over it when I can make that with a few coats of clear look really nice? And Tim has a car right there. Let me make him big.
I got it.
Okay.
That's duplicate. I mean, Tamiya gray primer, wet sanded, and then clear coated and wet sanded and polished.
Look at the shine on that thing, dude. That thing looks amazing.
Yeah. So come out pretty good, but that's just primer.
Yeah.
Dude.
And yeah,
I wanted like a battleship gray, and when I primed the body, I said, that's the color I want. So I just wet sanded and cleared it.
yeah, exactly. That came out. That's really in person. That thing is beautiful, even more so than it is on here.
And
but yes, so
this police car, this whole thing was primed white, and I taped off the white and I painted the black, and that white is also just white primer clear coated.
Okay.
So you can do that.
Yeah, so you can get the primers in white, pink, gray, black. So there's
a dark brown.
There's a dark brown, yeah.
Mahogany. If you get the bottles, you can get the mahogany, the pink. I don't know how many. I don't know if mahogany comes in the spray can, the rattle can, or not.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a good segue into this next question that you have highlighted. If you get the bottles and you airbrush your primer on, that's opens you up to a few different colors. But we want to know what is a good starter airbrush kit. So, Mike,
I'll start with that.
Yeah.
I recently, and by recently, within the last two and a half years, have gotten into using the airbrush. And first things first, it's a time doing thing. You're going to have to do it over and over and over again and keep practicing to get right. And the more you practice, the better you get. But to answer the question, when I bought mine, I went to Hobby Lobby and bought the kit. It come with the air compressor and the little airbrush, the hose. All you had to do was plug it in. I mean, literally, it was ready to go. The air compressor has a water catch on it, so it catches the water out of it and keeps it dry. I have since moved up in quality when it comes to the airbrush itself, but I found that little Hobby Lobby airbrush to be, a good starting point. And then the compressor I'm still using after 2 years, and I never unplug it or shut it off. It stays on all the time. Every once in a while, I'll hear it, brrr, and it works great for me. There's better out there, but that's what I started with.
Okay. Tim, what do you want to tell them what you use?
I use a Pache H single action, and I use it for everything. I use Scale Finishes paint, I use Splash, I use Gravity, and I use MCW. In Tamiya, in the little bottles, I use that through my airbrush as well. I paint all my chassis with it. All my interiors are all Tamiya colors through the airbrush. I find a single action a little easier to use if you're new at it, because you just got to push down and you can adjust the spray with the nozzle. To me, it's easy. A lot of guys like the dual action and all that. It just all depends on what you get comfortable with. For that, I was the most comfortable. I had a dual action. I didn't like it. I sold it, and the Pache 8s, I've been using it for almost 10 years now. The same one, too. You just you clean it when you're done, and it's fine,
Yeah, I found that it's all a matter of, so Tim actually helped me get set up with my first airbrush too, which is also a Pache H. And I agree with him. If you're going to start with something, I think you should start with a single action just to get going with it, right? Because I'm on year 2, and I'm still not comfortable enough to say I am giving up my rattle cans. Then again, I also don't come home every day and like practice and get into a routine with it. So I'm sure if I tried a little harder, it would be better. But I say start with something simple like that.
And the best thing to do is use a couple of old bodies that you don't like and practice.
Practice.
You know, you get bodies from kits that you stole parts out of, whatever. Use that as your learning board, and just strip them and just keep priming them and doing them again. That's what I learned on. I had an old Willys body that I must have painted the thing 30 times, and then when it was done, I'd strip it and then prime it and then do it again until I got comfortable with it. So.
Yeah.
Once you get comfortable, it becomes second nature. You don't have to think about it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just like a rattle can. There were some guys like Jason that can lay down a beautiful rattle can job. I could do a good rattle can job years ago, but not now because now I'm so used to the airbrush. So you just have to get comfortable. It's a learning curve like anything else in this hobby.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the easiest way to get going is a simple single action airbrush. That's the easiest I find to learn on.
Yeah. Agreed. And then Brad Underwood again, he just asked about the brand of wet sanding paper. And if you've seen me the past 2 minutes, I've been trying to find a receipt for the last time I bought a bunch of paper, but it's microfinishes.com, I think.
Yeah, micro scale finishes or something.
Something like that. Yeah. Man, I'm going to have to. I usually keep the receipt like right within reach so that I know that they sell. You can buy like a kit, not a kit, set. I don't know. Comes with a bunch of different grits, and it's like $50. And but I can't find that receipt.
Yeah, I always go. I start at 4,000. It goes 4, 6, 8, and then 12. And 12 feels like just a wet piece of paper. They ain't do nothing, but it does do something to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wherever you say, Jason. That's where I told you. That's where I get it.
Yes, yeah.
And it seems to work, and it seems to last.
It does. And when you get on there, they have two. You can get an automotive / hardware store grade, or you can get a hobby grade. You want a hobby grade.
Yes.
And now, after we get off here, I'm going to have to tear this place apart looking for that receipt.
But as far as just for those that to kind of elaborate on the question a little bit, you guys were talking about single stage and one-step, two-step airbrushes. The difference being, and Tim, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but the single step, you just push down, you get air and paint at the same time. In a dual, you push down, that gives you air, and you pull back, and that gives you paint, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I like I said, I started with the Hobby Lobby or the Harbor Freight one, and then from there I moved up to the Galleries, the A68, which is a trigger gun, and I got real comfortable with those trigger guns, and that's what I use now. I have the Swallowtail, and I have the Black Widow.
Gotcha.
Both. But I've gotten to where, and it's not just because it's me. I use the A68 now for my primers, and I use the Swallowtail for my colors, and then I use the Black Widow for my clears. But you don't have to go that far with it. You can use the same brush.
Yeah.
I just for me, it keeps everything separate and a little more. That's my ADHD, I guess.
Yeah, well, you know what it is? I just don't feel like buying another one. Is all it comes down. That's why I use the same one. And like I say, if you clean it out every time you use it, and everybody thinks cleaning out's a lot of work. Jason, what's it take? Literally 5 minutes, if that.
Yeah.
If that.
Exactly.
I mean, I run some thinner through it. I put some thinner in the cup. I run it through it a couple of times, and then I take the nozzles off. And I get these little. It's not actually a wire brush. It's made out of something soft. And I just go through it and get it all out and everything, put it back together. I mean, it takes no time.
Yeah.
And that kit that you're talking about, I know there's a bunch of different ones out there, but Harbor Freight offers it. Comes in a little box.
Yeah.
And it's got those little brushes and everything.
Right.
It's real cheap.
Right.
Yeah.
So my first foray into airbrushing, I bought a Pache. I bought I forget, Iwata. Yeah. A Neo.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I sold it to a club member. And then I bought the Pache H. The compressor I bought at Harbor Freight for $69. I bought a spray out pot and the cleaning brushes. I think I was for $160, I think. I was in it for everything.
Mhm.
And then when Jason said he wanted to get into it, I gave him everything I had, and then I bought a whole nother set so that he would have it, and we could teach him how to do it, and then
Yeah.
I have mine. And I just honestly, it works so good, and I'm so comfortable with it. I really don't have a desire to try another one or buy multiples, or
Yeah, if
Yeah.
it works for you,
Right.
and you're late, and we just saw your work, so you're clearly doing it right. It's definitely working well.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I've got the fancy stuff, and my stuff still looks like, again, not new golf balls, but used golf balls. I'm moving up in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Used golf balls are at least it's smoother.
Smoother, right?
No, you do well. You do
Yeah,
well.
you do. I've seen your stuff. You do.
I'm getting there. But I'm trying to stay open minded. I got the luxury of living not next door to, but very close to guys like Old Tom, Rambler 69,
Yeah.
and Brad, we call King Sparkles, who won Best of Show at Acme like 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Definitely this past year. And these guys are they're like you, Tim. They're top shelf painters. They know what they're doing. And literally, Brad lives a mile. By the way, the Bird Flies lives a mile and a half from me. So I get an opportunity to hang out with those guys and learn from them. And try to stay open-minded about it, because as long as you're learning something and you're getting better, then that's what I want to do. I want every model. The next model I build to be better than the last one, or at least or try something new with everything.
Yeah. Well, what I like to tell people, I'm a parts guy. I've been a parts guy 35 years, and people are always asking questions and everything, and they always say, "Sorry for the stupid question." And my response to that is, there's no such thing as a stupid question other than the question that's not asked. Because if you don't ask, you won't learn. So guys that have been doing it a long time probably get tired of hearing the same questions from people that are learning, but that's how we teach everybody. If you got a question, ask it. And I mean, I get asked questions at model shows all the time, at the club meetings. I tell you anything you want to know. If I know how to do it, I'll tell you.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
If you got questions, ask them, because that's how you're going to learn.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And BG, the external mix airbrush is very easy to clean and almost indestructible.
Yeah.
Those are nice. See, me and Billy Strange subscribe to the same airbrush techniques. Billy says he just lays his face on the airbrush and hopes for the best. That's kind of how I did. Billy, I thought I was the only one. Billy, I thought I was the only one. Well,
Oh gosh, that's funny.
it was like, I feel like the Green Mile. I found you in the dark.
Right? That's too funny.
Yeah, it is funny.
Now let's see here.
So we asked us here on the camera, what about you guys in the chat? What's everybody working on in the chat?
Yeah, let's hear what is everyone working on in the chat.
Right now, I'm working on finding the directions to this kit that I'm supposed to be working on.
Because I'd like to think that these guys are tuning in and while they're building, right?
I would think so, right? Oh,
I would
listen,
like to. Well, they don't have to. I mean, I sat here all last week and didn't do nothing.
yeah, me
Dale, I'm jealous.
and you, beer. Damn it, Dale. Boston's working on a fatty boom batty. I'm not sure if I know what that is, but I'll just take his word for it. Well, what was it? Some like to smoke bud and some like to drink bud.
Yep, exactly. I'm more of a drinker myself, but definitely
Me
not
too.
Bud. Right?
Yeah, me either.
Oh, nice. An Atlantis M46 tank. Very cool.
Very cool. Yeah.
Speaking of tanks, listening to those Insanity guys, they finally got me to go out and buy a tank.
Those guys
They're
Those
awesome.
guys are nuts. They're nuts, man. I love
love
every
those
one of
guys.
those guys. I love every one of those guys.
You know what's nice about that podcast? I can relate to all of them. They all seem like really, really great guys. I feel that if I met any of them, I could go up and say, "Hey, how are you?" And you can have a conversation with them. And what they talk about just pertains to everything in any genre in the hobby that you build.
Yeah, it definitely crosses over
Right.
and works on all sides of it.
Yeah.
If you get it, if you get the opportunity, and I can send you a link if you need it, but it's easy to find. You got to go into their Discord. Their Discord is just them hanging out with buds and relaxing,
Yeah.
And it's a great place to learn a lot of stuff, but laughs, oh my God. They will make you laugh the whole time you're in there.
Yeah. Well, Jason said to me, he said, "Oh, you got to listen to this new podcast I'm listening to." So I listened to it, and I haven't stopped since.
Yeah, they're good guys.
I finally
man.
caught up on all their episodes. The only two I listened to the Scale Model podcast, Scale Model Car podcast, and I listened to that one there.
Yeah, that's me. That's the only two. There's others out there, and that's great. I couldn't build any character development with the other ones, and that doesn't mean they're bad. Just means it's not for me.
Yeah.
But I'm with you, Tim. I'm listening to. I'm, always on the edge of my seat, waiting for the next Scale Model Car podcast. It's that Northeast Car Report, Model Car Report that I gotta have, and the same way with those guys at the Insanity.
Yeah. Like I say, their podcast is military, and I'm not a military guy or aircraft or any of that, but the techniques that they talk about, just everything in general, just that whole conversation, I can relate to into automotive.
Right.
If you want to just gain some knowledge and you don't listen to that podcast, it's worth a listen to because they're all really nice guys and they do a great job.
It really is. Each one of those guys are award-winning, like high-end award-winning builders, so they can help you with, camouflage, weathering, any of that stuff. If you're building a swamp truck and you want to get mud on the fenders, and they can tell you, the different layers and how to get to where you want to be. It's all going to be practice, right? You're still going to have to apply it and get the technique down, but they'll definitely steer you in the right direction and save you a lot of time and effort.
Yeah.
Well, another podcast I like to listen to is the Model Geeks. They were the original podcast that I started with.
Yeah.
They're airplane guys. That's all they do. They have maybe they dabble a little bit into armor, but they say they openly admit that that's all that they build is aircraft. And after listening to those guys for a couple of years, I have started to really want to build a plane. So it's inspiring me. If you look, I would say look for podcasts and just give them a listen. I mean, if you get halfway through it and you're like, "Oh, this really sucks. It's not for me." Fine, but you might find something like this podcast for everything out there. You might find something that sparks an interest in you.
You never know.
Exactly.
I never thought that I would listen to armor, aircraft, and some guys from New York, but it's more than that. The Insanity guys are. I'll tell you another.
Frank. Tim, so you can't see the chat, can you?
You should be able to see it on the computer because I got it highlighted.
Can you see what's highlighted?
Thanks, Frank. Thanks.
Good old Frankie.
Frank, the human chick magnet. Chicks dig him, men fear him.
Yeah.
Chicks dig him, men fear him. He's a man amongst men. I'll tell you one that I have been listening to and trying to get caught up on, and I can't think of the name of it, but the one that James Testers is on, and James, is it Dunn? James
Duff.
Duff.
Not really. So I don't know if that's actually a podcast. Let me throw some info down for you. I don't know if that's a podcast that you can listen to other than on YouTube. However, find a way to listen on May 19th because I'm going to be a guest on that show.
Oh, awesome. We'll definitely tune in then. But I've been listening to them, and I think they're like our live cast that we do on Thursday. It's just a YouTube thing.
Yeah. James Duff he might be upset for me saying this in a public forum, but James Duff is a very nice guy.
Is he?
He
I've not met any of them or even chatted with them. I know that James Tester has taken that 3D printed Hoonigan Mustang, and I bought one, and it just wasn't done right. But he bought the file and printed it, and I wish that somebody else, because he doesn't sell them, I wish that somebody else would produce one as well as he produced that one, because every one that I've gotten is clunky and just horrible, but he's somehow figured out the file, and his looks amazing.
He's got a secret, that's for sure.
Yep. But I know a couple guys that if I sent them the file and they weren't too busy, I'm sure they could probably figure it out for me. But I hate bothering those guys with that sort of thing because I know they're busy making their own products.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know a couple guys.
I got to tell you, I haven't met him personally, but Josh at VGC Resins. Tell you a story about Josh. We had a club member pass away, and he was a great guy. Everybody loved him. His name was Bill Murphy, and he had a landscaping company when he was a kid. So our club for our show, because we put on a show every year, we had what we call a club challenge. So only club members build for this challenge. And last year it was a tribute to Bill Murphy. So it was a Ford pickup because he loved Ford pickups, and he was a landscaper. So Josh had just come out with the weed whackers and the mowers and all that stuff. So me and Jason were NNL the morning that it all got released and it got sold out. So Jason messages him and lets him know that, Tim would like some of these and all that. And Josh said to Jason, tell Tim, don't worry about it. I got him covered. So he says, I'll send him a message. So Jason gave him my information. He sent me a message. The stuff was ready. I ordered it. And he said, I'll send you a bill, an invoice. Once I get everything, tell me what you need. So I told him. He sent me the invoice, and he says to me, it's nice that you're doing a tribute to a fallen club member. I made something just for you for this challenge, and I hope you enjoy it. So I get the box in the mail, and there's the little lawnmowers, and I'm a parts guy for a lawnmower place, small engine stuff. So they were spot on. They're beautiful, right? Mm-hmm. So I get the weed whackers, I got the leaf blowers, I got the mowers and everything. And he printed out a 3D printed landscaping trailer just for me.
Oh, wow.
He said to me, he goes, it was a prototype I did. It's not perfect, but I hope you like it. That model's won an award everywhere it's gone. And it's absolutely fabulous. Now, here's a guy, he's never met me. Mm-hmm. I just buy parts from him and everything, but he went out of his way to do that. Yep. And I'll never forget that. I thought that was the greatest thing. And I made up a little laminated card that I put my model when I put it somewhere. And then big at the top, special thanks to Josh at VGC Resins so that everybody knows where that stuff came from. Because that was awful nice of him. That's fantastic. But that's what this hobby makes this hobby great, is that.
Yeah, agreed. I was actually talking to him a little bit earlier today via text message. He is a great guy. I mean, and if you think about it, Jason and I both have had the luxury. We've been able to communicate and be friends with Josh, Joel from Iceman, and Matthew from MCV. So I call those guys the big three.
Yeah.
Texas 3D Prints is kind of in there too, but I call those guys the big three. And they're all absolutely awesome dudes. Every one of them.
I've talked to Matthew on the phone. He's a super nice guy. I have not had the pleasure to deal with Joel other than buying his pots. I bought all the stuff from all three of them.
Yeah.
Top-notch guys. They all great service, great products. I mean, what more do you need, right?
Right.
I don't even look at other companies now because if those three don't have it, then I don't want it because all of them, their stuff is so great and their customer service is outstanding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In fact, I was talking to Joel today as well and basically sending out Happy Easter, everybody. And I've been trying to get Joel to come on this show here on Sunday, but Sunday is his packing day. And he's just got back from shows. He was doing all kinds of stuff. So he's a little busy right now, but we're hoping to get him on here to come hang out with us, do some building.
I don't know how those guys find the time, honestly.
I know. And like Joel's got a full-time job.
Does he really?
Yeah, he's got a full-time job and he does his stuff. I do know about Josh. Josh said that he made the leap and went full-time with this thing a few years ago. And Matthew, I'm not sure. I think Matthew has a government job. I wouldn't swear to that.
Well, I know Matthew has a job.
I wouldn't swear to anything.
Right? He just can't anymore. You never know.
No, you just can't.
I did buy some stuff at NNL last year. from a printer, 3D Canuck from Canada.
Yeah.
I bought 70 Chevelle conversion stuff to make it just a Malibu. So it's a grill with no SS on them, a flat hood, the back bumper without that black rubber strip in it. And the stuff is beautiful. And I just bought from him about a month ago the stuff to change a 69 Chevelle to a Beaumont, a Canadian version of a Chevelle. He makes the grill and everything. It's all real nice stuff. And, you know, he messaged me back to make sure the stuff was really good and everything, you know.
That's good.
Yeah.
My friend Chris Martin actually promotes that stuff quite a bit.
Yeah. That's actually where I saw it. Was Chris did a video on it, and I said, "Oh, I like those Beaumonts. I always did when I was a kid. You know, you know, I had a couple Chevelles, so
Yeah,
I've always
exactly.
been a Chevelle guy. So
That's cool.
yeah,
Speaking of 3D companies, Tim, I don't know if you saw. I know you've used them in the past, but we are no longer going to be able to get Zoom on stuff.
really?
Yeah.
Why?
Let's just say that the government has, on their side, has suspended shipping to us.
The tariffs.
So yeah, I was kind of bummed with that because I was sitting out here yesterday or last evening, like putting together a list of stuff because they just released a whole bunch of new stuff, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna and then I get a little notification on my Facebook through Zoom on. Yeah, after April 25th, you can't get anything.
Wow,
And they don't expect it to come back for quite a while, unfortunately. So
that's a shame. I've been buying
yeah,
for years now.
Yeah.
Are they out of Japan?
No,
China.
China.
Yeah.
It if you look at Plaza Japan, you go to their site, they got everything. It's either, I forget if it says call or out of stock, everything's out of stock. It's the tariffs, but
Yeah.
I think that well, we don't want to get into politics out of it, but I think that'll change after a while. China, maybe not.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
I think the rest of them will.
Well,
figure it out.
realistically, do I have enough stuff here to build to last me the rest of my life? Absolutely. Are there enough 3D companies here in the United States that I can support? Absolutely. It's a minor inconvenience for me, to be honest with you. Their stuff is really good, and it's the only place you can get that genre, that JDM or European style of parts. However, I mean, I don't have a choice, right? We'll just live without it.
All right, you just have to live without it.
Yep.
And again, just like anything else, and I'm not saying I agree or disagree with what they're doing, but it's just like anything else. If a ball falls, well, if there's a market and all of a sudden that market gets shut off, somebody is going to pick that market up that can get it out to people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, somebody's going to pick that up.
Absolutely.
Well,
At least I like to think that somebody will.
yeah. And I look at it this way: all the years we've all been builders, and we didn't use them, we didn't know about them.
There's
So-
that.
You know, you just go back to you don't know what's out there.
Exactly.
We just improvise or do something else, I guess.
The guys that I, because I don't know enough about it, but the ones that, and I'm sure they got it under control, but like the Andes and these big hobby shops that we all want to support, that does buy from these countries. I hope they figured something out for their sake,
Yeah, I'm sure.
And Andy's a smart businessman, so I'm sure he's got it figured out. But
Oh yeah.
Well, as Jason likes to ask his question on guests on the podcast, if a zombie apocalypse is coming and you got to pick one kit, well, that tells me right there we all have too many kits. So if things get to the point where we can't afford to buy them, I think I'm set for 2 more lifetimes after this one.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, for sure.
see, that must be nice, fellas. I don't have that luxury. I mean, I don't.
It's because you just.
I don't have any kids.
It's funny. Me and Jason talk about this all the time. It's a blessing and it's a curse to have that many models.
It is.
Because it's a blessing because you have them. If you want something, you just go grab it and you can do it. It's where it's bad is when you don't know what you want to build.
Exactly.
It's like that little kid on Christmas Day that's got too many toys to play with.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what to play with.
Yep.
So,
Exactly.
and mine are right beside me. You guys can't see them on the other side of the room, but standing there, I'm looking at 500 models, and you don't know what to build. It gets aggravating. I end up cutting the lights off and just leaving the room.
Right. It's either that or you. My ADHD won't really let me do it, but it's like you get to working on it, and then you get inspired. Like I was inspiring, didn't mean to, but was inspiring Jason earlier. Somebody comes up with a neat group build, and you start looking. Oh yeah. And then all of a sudden, oh, I remember when I first bought that kit, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that. And next thing you know, you got 3 on the bench as opposed to the 2 that you really need to be working on.
Well, I want to do a 56 Nomad project. I'm gonna build 2 Nomads, one spotless, shiny and everything, and one rusted out the same colors on the trailer behind it.
Right.
So I said to Jason, I think I got 2 of those 56s. We went to show, me and Jason went to show about a month ago, and I bought one, a CO 56 Revell wagon. Came home, I had not 1, but 2 of them already. So I said to Jason, well, when I'm done, you're going to end up with a kit because after that, I won't build another one.
I can, it's not free, but it's really cheap. I don't know how if you have smartphones and all that, but there's a company called, or an app called iCollect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim uses it.
Yeah, that's a really cool. The hard part is to get all your current stuff in, especially if you got a big stash.
Yeah.
But once you got it in, and then you go to a show and you're like, oh, that just inspired me. Do I have that kit? You can go through your iCollect and be like, oh, yep, I've already got that one, so I don't have to buy it.
Well, I have the iCollect app, and it was a long weekend. I downloaded the app. It was a long weekend. I spent the whole weekend in here, and I did every model I have is on that app.
Yeah.
Now, as I buy them, I put them on right away, so I know I have it.
It's a lot easier when you get them to put them on. Yeah.
Yeah. So then now what I do is there's 572 models that I have. But I did another thing called a wish list. So any model that I've given away, I've sold, or I've donated to my club or something, I've moved to the wish list, and there's over 200 of that. So I've given almost as many away as I have, or half of what I have.
Yeah.
But I love that app for that one reason, because you go, oh wait, I got that one, or I don't have that one, or
and
the way my models are stacked, they're too deep, so I can't see what's behind the front row. So I just open up the app on my iPad and I go, okay, do I have that? Oh yeah, I do. Okay, and then I just got to go dig it out.
Right.
Right.
And I have found that you can also put your 3D printed stuff on there.
Yeah.
You just got to come up with a different file or a different section or whatever.
Right.
So that helps a lot too, because I'm real bad about that. If I found it once, cool. If I saw it one time and it was cool, and I see it a second time, it's still going to be cool.
Yeah.
If I don't remember I bought it, then I'm going to end up with it.
Right.
to the point where I've got 5 of the Iceman 392 Hemis and 2 of the big Hellcats because I just thought they were cool, and every time I ordered, I'd buy another one.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, man, this is so cool, but vaguely familiar. Oh yeah.
And then you get home and put it in the collection. You're like, oh yeah, there it is. I already.
There
have
it is with the 4 other ones.
You're right. Exactly right.
Yeah.
And the only time that sucks is when you're on a budget and you bought something that you already had, and there was something there that you were looking at that you put back that you didn't have.
Yeah.
Yeah. That happened to me at Acme, and that's why I'm not letting that happen again.
My budget is I don't need any more.
I can relate to that budget. Oh, trying to do a better job. The monkey is called Chasing the White Rabbits. Alice knows about it. Yeah. Stay away from the hookah smoking caterpillar, but remember what the drone said, feed your head.
Yeah. I'm one of those guys. Oh, look, something shiny. I got to run out and see what it is.
That's it. Papa Z said, pro tip from the Easter Bunny: do not smoke the plastic grass in your Easter basket. Thanks for that, Rick. Rick.
Yeah, that doesn't work out.
I'm going to put that little piece of information right next to the piece of information I read off of the Preparation H bottle. Do not take orally.
Good grief.
You know that somebody called the makers of Preparation H and we're like, hey, Hey, I ate this stuff. It didn't do nothing for my hemorrhoid, but now I can't get a pee in my mouth.
My favorite is when you see the commercials on TV for drugs, and
Yeah.
you got hay fever, but it causes all this other stuff. And me and my wife always laugh. My favorite one is at the end. They say, and it can cause anal seepage. Gee, thanks.
Right.
I can breathe better, but my butt's leaking.
Or the one that says, you're not sleeping at night, right? So you take a pill for not sleeping at night, and it says side effects may keep you up all night. Wait a minute, that just doesn't sound right. I don't know.
Yeah,
Is it me? Is it me?
Is it me? Robert, Jason, I sent you. That's too funny. Robert Penderson sent me a Malco gasser because I had mentioned in my video that if I had another one, I'd do it because the one I built like 8 years ago kind of stinks.
Yeah.
So he sent me one, which was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
But then he went out and bought another one right after.
Jason, I'd be lying if I'd say I hadn't done that for you before.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm kind of in the same boat. When I sent that Camaro up to you from Ollie's, I bought 2 for myself.
That's funny.
Jason's called me on a few occasions, and he's needed a kit for something. You got one of those? Yeah, I do. You want to get rid of it? No, but I'll send it to you anyway. And I always end up giving it to him. Then I have to go out and buy another one because I can't say no to him because we're friends.
Right? I feel you. That's my twinsy.
Well, that's why I did my stash spotlight video this past Saturday. I did that GTR that you had originally picked when we were trading the kits.
Yeah.
And I told the story about how you called me a couple days later and was like, "Can I trade my trade?
Yeah.
Something different?" And I was like, "Of course. Everything is on the table, right? Because we're friends. I can't say no to you."
I know, but
now that I've taken that GTR out and I looked at it, I'm like, son of a. Now I need to build this. Because I fully intended, had you decided you wanted that kit, that I was going to give you one and then go buy one.
Well, honestly, the night that you sent me all those pictures, I saw that kit. And I'm like, oh, I want that kit. Keep saying I'm going to buy one. I want that. But then the little guy on my shoulder said, remember Jason said he really wanted that kit. He really liked it. So you can't ask him for it, you jerk. So that's why I said, that's why I took a few days because I felt bad.
No, jeez.
But it was like the only kit that I really wanted. And then I looked through the pictures again because after I asked, I felt terrible.
Oh, God.
I was beating myself up. Matter of fact, I was sitting in here talking to myself. And Shona walks by and she goes, who are you talking to? I said, nobody. She goes, are you giving yourself the wrong answers again? So then I said, well, the other one I liked was that Cobra.
Yeah.
I got the other 2 versions. I got the street version.
Yeah.
I got the circle track version. That's the drag version.
Yeah.
And if you really don't want to give it to me, you don't have to.
Oh, no. Like I said, anything here is on the table. It's fine. You want it, you can have it.
Yeah.
I
do the same for you without a problem.
Of course.
I just weathered that chassis on the police car. How's it look? Look all right?
Well, good.
Hang on, let's get him up here on the big screen so everybody can see.
Yeah, because he's doing the most building.
Right, I am building, but yeah, that looks good.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Yeah, it looks all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some spots look shitty, but it'll be all right.
I like it.
I like it. Good to me. Looks good to me.
I'm painting the rotors and the stuff now, and I can get the wheels on it. And then all I'll have left is the engine and final assembly, and I can move on to my wagons.
Well, Tim, because we've just met and we'll all learn a little bit about you, how do you feel about photo etch? We've talked about 3D printed. How do you feel about photo etch stuff?
The photo etch. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with it.
You and everybody else.
Yeah, that and bare metal foil. It's. I'm not good with photo etch. I'll buy a photo etch set for a whole car, and all I end up ever using is just the emblems.
Really?
Yeah, it's just I can't get myself to cut the grills out and do the grills, and I use some small stuff off those, but I'm not comfortable with it, and I hate being outside of my comfort zone, which is crazy for a model builder. But
well, again, reverting back to the Insanity guys, Rob Riv is like the master of armor photo etch, right?
yeah, he's Mr. Photo Etch.
Yeah, he's really good at it. So it's inspired me to try to do it. And again, those guys pointed me towards a company called Edward.
Yeah,
Apparently, they make a lot of photo etch and models and stuff. But
Hey,
Edward,
automotive seatbelts.
that's just exactly where I was going.
Yeah,
And I've got, you know, I ordered the Edward seatbelts. In fact, probably won't show up too well, but that's what's in the 68 Dart.
yeah,
And I've got 3D printed stuff, and that is really good. Don't get me wrong, but I will. That is my go-to now. Those things are awesome. I love them.
yeah. They are. I got a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Like I say, I use some of the small stuff. I mean, a guy in our club did a Lamborghini. Actually, the club president, he did a Lamborghini and he bought the full photo etch set for it, and he used every single piece of it. And I just don't have the patience for that. No, I'd like to, but I don't.
Detail Master offers a really nice multiple set of wire looms, and they work really good for the wire looms because they're the scale. But you're right, they are a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
To figure out and get them to where they look right. But
yeah,
the biggest thing is getting the wire to pass through them. But once you got them on and you get them right, they look amazing.
Yeah, they do. I see guys at shows that they have the wire separators and the wire. Yeah. I don't have the patience. I don't. I'd love to, but it's just not who I am. And it sounds kind of funny for a model builder to say that I know my limitations and I probably should work past those and learn to do more. But is it wrong that if you're comfortable with what you're doing, that you don't really need to do anymore? You know what I mean?
That's a really good question, actually, because that ties into a conversation we had 20 minutes ago. I'm comfortable not using like rattle cans. I'm comfortable with them.
Right.
Is it really bad that I'm not jumping on the opportunity to like move past that and get into the airbrush? Because I should, or I could, and things would probably, my paint jobs would most certainly get better. But I'm comfortable where I'm at.
Right.
So what's the deal? Do I turn this into something that like becomes a little bit of work for a short amount of time by forcing myself to do something, or do I just keep going the way I'm going, having a good time?
I
can't find the answer.
I'm going to steal from from Justin, and how he responds to that same question. I'm going to basically ad lib what he says.
Oh,
we all hear the cliche, you know, it works for me, or I'm happy with it, and that's fine. If we'll use you, Jason, saying you don't want to convert over, you're reluctantly going over, or taking your time going over, whatever verbs you want to use to say. But the point is, you're not a guy that's going on saying you can do the same thing with a rattle can that you can do. You can do the same thing with hardware store paint that you can do with an airbrush. You're not that guy. You understand, okay, maybe you can get a better paint job with an airbrush with a rattle can, but I'm okay with what I got. That's different and that's what Justin is saying. He doesn't jump on the guy that uses the rattle cans or doesn't use it, whatever he uses. He jumps on the guy that's telling everybody else, this is as good as it gets. This is you do this and you'll never have been doing it for 30 years and never had a problem. Yeah. For you, that's great. But maybe just letting other people know there's other avenues to pursue should you decide to do that. Right. And Tim, if you're happy with what you're doing, I've seen your work. It's amazing. I'd be happy with it too. So, and if you don't want to jump out into other stuff, good for you, man. Just keep on doing what you're doing.
Because I see cars at shows. I see some of the YouTubes I follow, like Fred Henry, some of the stuff that at work he does. It's amazing. Some of those guys, Old Tom, just everybody I watch. Frank at Frank's Model Works. They're all incredible builders.
Yeah.
I don't see myself even close to that class, but they do work that I don't know if I really want to try it because I like what I'm doing. So, like that, I just like I got an email from Josh today, VGC. He came out with that tubbed rear clip and then the front clip,
Yeah.
and they look awesome. And I have no desire to do that though. So my question is that okay that I don't want to grow as a builder? And is it okay to plateau where you're at?
I would say yeah, because you're happy in the end. This hobby is all about what you get out of it individually.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, I think you're perfectly fine. You're perfectly fine if you want to grow. I mean, I would encourage you to try something new. But if you're not a young man, you've tried different stuff. You know where you're at. You know what you're comfortable with. You're not just getting into the hobby. And if you know in your heart, I could buy this and try it, but I'm not going to like it. And especially if you go in with that thought process, you're not. You know.
Yeah. Well, I would try and keep an open mind if I tried it. The problem with me, and I don't gauge myself. I don't know how to word it, but I try and make each model I build better for me, nobody else. I was a closet builder for years. Nobody knew I built models. Nobody saw them enough, and I built them for me and looked at them, put them on the shelf.
Right.
So I don't need to gauge it to have somebody say stuff. You know, I'm fine with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Again, if you're happy where you're at in the hobby, then that's what's important.
Exactly. And so Tiffany says she never wants to stop learning, which is great for Tiffany.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But some people might, like for you, Tim, you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
This is your getaway. This is I come in this room, I shut the door, and it's my getaway from the rest of the crap that's going on in the world, right? Why would I want to make that stressful? So if you're happy doing what you're doing and you're getting good results that you're happy with, then absolutely plateau, my friend.
Yeah.
Plateau.
I mean, I can look at somebody that does some completely wild. That Volkswagen you did, Mike. I was in awe when I saw that Volkswagen you did a couple of years ago on your channel, and I was in awe of that. And I love it, and I think it's beautiful, and I can appreciate the workmanship and all that. For whatever reason, I just have no desire to do all that.
Yeah.
No, and I'm not saying it's bad against anybody. Anybody that does that and you love it, you knock yourself out. It's what you want to do. I just can't keep myself to do something like that. I don't know what it is. So that was really my question. Is it okay just to go, listen, I'm going to take this model out of the box and put a set of cool 3D printed wheels on it and call it done? You know?
Yeah. It's absolutely fine. And like I was saying about Justin, it's the guys, not using you for an example, but using where you're at. There's guys that do that too, and then some of those guys are gatekeeping, saying that's as good as you get. And I think that's what Justin jumps on. As long as you're happy where you're at, and you're not telling anybody this is as good as it gets, and you're not trying to encourage growth, then that's you. That's you happy where you're at. Again, we've seen your work, and you're doing a great damn job. So you got nothing to be ashamed of. It's not like you're throwing garbage out there. I mean, your stuff is top shelf.
Well, it's also you're not out, like he just said. You're not on Facebook telling everybody that the way they're doing it's wrong.
This is how I do it. It's the only way to do it. If you're not doing the way I do it, you're doing it wrong.
I have lots of people ask me how I do my paint jobs. And I will tell anybody that asked my process. And it's my process. It works for me. It might not work for you. You might not like it. You might make tweaks in it so that it works the way you want it to work. And that's fine. But this is how I do it. And I like the way I do it. Okay. I've been trying to get Jason more with the airbrush and everything. And he'll tweak things and he'll change things and he'll get comfortable with it eventually. It'll be the way he does it, not the way Tim does it. It's going to be the way Jason does it. So, you got to be comfortable with what you're doing, I guess.
That's it.
It's,
So, there's a comfort level, and that's where you're at, and you're happy with it, then so be it,
Yeah.
100%.
I just think it's funny. In anything in the world, they always say that you gotta keep growing. You got to keep doing this. I worked in the auto parts business for a huge company for years, and they're always pushing to get bigger and do this and do that. And, I always used to step back and say, well, we're all making a good living. And there's no complaints. Why are we pushing it? And then one guy said to me, well, you have to keep growing. Well, do you really? That's my question. Do you really have to keep growing? Or can you find a spot that you're happy and comfortable with and stay there?
Mm-hmm. if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of thing, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
If it
Yeah.
ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
And that's what's great about this hobby, especially where we are collectively. I've said it before. I think we're in the golden age of this hobby now. Matt will tell you we're going through another golden age because he's been building since forever. And
Yeah.
he remembers back in the day when, and all that. But with the interwebs, with the 3D printed, with the photo etch, with everything that's out there and available to us now as builders, I think we're, with the kits coming out, the different companies that you got, Mobius that's cranking out stuff. JR Salvino's just fired up. I say just fired up. They've been out a few years now.
Yeah.
But what they're creating, and you still have your round twos that are pumping out the old AMT stuff, which may be a little dated, but it's still a sought after product. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. I think that anything that you want to build, what you can come up with in your mind, like Fred Henry says, if you can dream it, you can build it, right?
Amen.
Yeah.
So with everything that is out there now, he is 100% correct.
Yeah.
Because 20 years ago, you had to have it in your head, and you had to map it out, and you had to hand construct it all, and know how to do all that, and have that knowledge. Where now, if I want to tub anything I want to tub, I just get on VGC Resins and buy that rare tub setup. Okay, now I'm at where I want to be.
Right.
So yeah, I think it is in a great spot.
That is,
Definitely. I agree, 100%.
Robert is asking, what's the next show we're going to, Jason?
That's why I left that up there, Tim. What is the next show we're going to? For sure.
I'm going to shoot for the one in Franklin on 18th. Hey, let me grab the flyer. I almost knocked over my garage. Oh, stink. That's right. The RTS Expo, May 18th at Franklin. I'll turn it around if you want to make it big. So
let me enlarge you. So, Tim and I had talked about possibly hitting that show. Tim, it sounds like you're definite. I'm still up in the air.
Okay.
That show falls in a weird spot for me because let me go back here and get rid of that. So that show falls in a weird spot for me because the first week of the month I'm down for the meeting. The second week of the month I'm down because we're taking a hobby shop day.
Yeah.
And that's the third weekend of the month. However, Heather is going plant shopping that same day with her friend. And I had mentioned to her that we were going to possibly go to that show. And she was on the fence because she was kind of hoping I would be there in the afternoon to help her unload all her plants and do all that stuff and help her lug her planters around and move them wherever she wants to move them. So as of right now, I'm up in the air on that.
Yeah.
So the next definite show for us is in September, I believe, right? Is that PatCon?
Yeah, PatCon. Yeah, I get the flyer for that too. That's PatCon.
And that is September what? September
28th.
Yeah. So for me, 100% guaranteed that's going to be my next show, Robert, is PatCon in September.
Yeah.
But if the stars align and every all the gods smile down upon me, I might make it to RTS.
Well, this is what I would say about RTS. A couple of things. One, if I were you, I would stay home to help Miss Heather. Because I love Heather as much as I love my own wife.
Yeah.
I think Heather's wonderful.
Right.
And she's a great girl and she does so much for you. So if she's asking for that little thing, then you give her that little thing. But that's just my thoughts. Also, my wife told me that on the Saturday, my goddaughter is graduating from nursing school.
Oh.
So she said we might be doing something on Sunday. I don't know yet. So it might be a wash for me as well.
Yeah.
So it all depends.
I would say September 28th, which is the day before my birthday, PatCon will be the next guarantee show for us.
Yeah, probably. How old are you going to be? 11?
No, I'm going to be. I can't even remember.
Yeah, that means you
55.
get
Jeez, I'm crow.
55. Shit, I was your
55.
age once, never again.
Yeah.
I haven't seen 55 yet, but I just kicked down 54's front door.
Yeah. Unfortunately, 60's right around the corner for me.
Well, Mikey,
Jeez.
let me put it to you this way: it gets worse every year.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Listen, I'm liking this new lineup on Sundays. I'm the kid.
Yeah, that's it.
Heck yeah. Tim, now you got to come back, man. You got to keep me from being the baby.
Yeah. Well, as my father says, as you get older, the shit gets deeper and the shovel gets smaller.
Your father hit the nail on the head.
he is not wrong.
No.
There's an old Alan Jackson song that I can relate to. I remember when 30 was old.
Yeah.
Where I thought 30 was old
Yeah.
anyway.
Yep. Oh,
Those days are gone.
Well, I graduated high school with my brother-in-law, and we were talking something about school today. I don't know what it was, because my nieces were over. Like I say, one of them was about to graduate nursing school, and we were talking. I looked at him. I go, Ken, how long was that? What, 15, 20 years ago? He goes, how about 42?
yeah, exactly.
I said, you got to be kidding me. Where'd 42 years go?
Yeah, exactly.
Tony Tibbs says we hit the nail on the head. If you teach someone a new technique, well, that's the joy of the hobby. I agree.
Yeah.
I think for me, and we've had this conversation before about awards and going to award type shows. For me, if I go to a show and a Jason shows up, a Tim Ryan shows up, and maybe I don't win a medal, but they look at my build and say, hey man, I like how you did this, or I like how you did that, or like a Tom or one of those guys show up and they acknowledge something I did, I would take that over a damn best of show every day.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. I couldn't agree more.
Well, I can tell you this. I am not the best bottle builder in the world, but again, I'm not the worst. But anybody I see that asks me a question, I'll tell you anything you want to know. If I know it, I'll answer it for you.
Right.
But I have come across guys that do things and they think it's a big secret. And what they don't understand, by doing that, you're stunting the growth of the hobby.
Amen. Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
If you do something, somebody likes it and they want to know how to do it, tell them. It helps the hobby.
What's the best form of flattery? Imitation.
Yeah.
Somebody copies your work, that's the best form of flattery there is.
Yeah.
Why not be involved with it? And
Yeah.
instead of them being all secretive, they can say, hey, Tim Ryan taught me this paint process and it works really well for me. I can tell you somebody has said that because they said it directly to me when I asked them, what's your paint process? Well, Tim Ryan taught me to do it this way. And I was like, thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. I'm going to try.
Yeah. I would love to go to a show someday and enter one of my models and have every car be best in show that's there. If there's 200 models on the table, I would love to get to a point where there's 200 best in shows. That would mean everybody's really enjoying the hobby. They do what they want to do. Everybody's taught somebody something along the way.
Mm-hmm. I think I know Jason's been talking about it. And Ricky, what's Ricky's name? Jason, you guys just had him on the show. Just did an interview with him.
Ricky Wallace Jr.
Ricky Wallace.
Yes, that did the Cars and Coffee thing.
Yeah.
I think that type of show might be the future, or at least have a future with hobby where you just go in and it's kind of like an expo thing. Maybe have door prizes, maybe have, viewer's choice or something silly like that. But just go in and be an expo for people to hang out. Because every one of us here has been to a show. What was your favorite part? Same thing as everybody, hanging out with everybody, and having fun. That way there, you're not worried about the competition part of it. I think I personally went yesterday to the 1-to-1 Cars and Coffee and was going to talk to them. They hold it at a local guy that has a restoration build shop, kind of like a Chip Foose type thing, but maybe not near as big.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's redoing everything from the old Chevelles to the 30s cars, whatever you can think of, they can work on it.
Yeah.
And it's just hosted there, and then Cars and Coffee, the 1-to-1 cars, come there. And they love the idea of me getting people to come to their 1-to-1 Cars and Coffee show with the scale stuff. But the problem is they do it once a month from 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. I'm like, that's not gonna fly. Nobody's gonna come to that, you know.
Yeah.
So I gotta find a different avenue. But I think there's something there that could be worked off of it. If you're not giving out trophies and you're not spending a whole bunch of money on a location, you don't have to. Maybe you charge them a couple bucks to show or whatever you have to do to cover your expenses. But it's going to be a lot less expensive to go to these types of shows if you don't have to pay for trophies and all this other stuff that goes along with it. So it's just more of it's a hangout, but you get to see each other.
Now let's put this into a little bit of perspective, though. Like you said, I've been thinking about doing that. Right? There's nothing like that in this part of New England. There isn't even a model show in this part of New England, except for the one IPMS show that's over in Sanford. So for me to have a model car only Cars and Coffee type thing, I think might be a success. Now, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, oh, you know what? I've got a place at work that we rent out, right, for functions and stuff. So I'm going to look into that. And if we can, it's small, but the tables would be free. There's a little kitchen place. I could set myself up to hand out free coffee to whoever wants to come. No, and I wasn't thinking of charging any money. Bring a model, put it on the table, whatever.
Yeah.
That being said, even with the discount I get, I still would have to pay to get the venue. Okay, that's a stumbling block for me because it's even with my discount, it's not cheap.
Yeah.
No matter where you go, you're going to run into. Same with this. I would have to have that hall at my work. I'm not going to say how much it would be for the day because it's just doesn't need to be discussed. But what does need to be discussed, and sometimes people don't always think about this, and I don't know how it works with our club show, Tim, but for me to get that hall for one day, I would have to pull a $1 million insurance rider.
Yeah.
Now, you don't think that's a big deal, and it's really not. They do it right off of my home insurance, and it's like $200 for the day. I pay my insurance company $200. They give me a 1 day, 24-hour $1 million rider to protect whatever happens there, right?
Right.
So there are things that it's not just as easy as, hey, I'm going to throw a Cars and Coffee model show. Come hang out, because there's going to be prices involved with that you're going to have to work out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You got the venue and the insurance. Now that is the upside to being involved with IPMS.
Yeah.
Because being involved with them, they have a rider that if you're if you are jump through all the hoops to be IPMS certified, if you will. I don't know what the term is, but then they can do that. But you still pay them, but that number is probably a lot less than, say, what your insurance company for your home would ask. But you're right. You're not wrong. You got venue. You got then you got to talk to people that if you get big enough, you got to talk to the local motels, hotels, campgrounds, that type of thing. See if maybe you can't get your people a discount. I mean, it really can snowball and turn into a lot. But
I mean, something for like a small model Cars and Coffee thing that I was thinking would be fun. Oh, you wouldn't have to do that because it would be like a 7 hour long thing one day. People, I don't know if people would travel for something like that. They might. I don't know. But I wasn't even thinking of that. I wasn't even thinking that far out.
Well, I can give you the financials of putting on a show.
Yeah.
You know how heavily involved I am with our show.
Yes.
The hall cost us $1,600 for the hall for the day.
Yeah.
That's not terrible.
The awards, because we do 28 classes, I think, and there's 3 awards, first, second, and third. The awards are $1,800.
hmm
And then we have to rent all the tables. That's another $1,700. So you're at almost $6,000 and you haven't even opened the doors yet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it adds up fast,
It does.
you know, to
Right.
do a full show.
Yes.
But even if you wanted to do just a hangout, even if you want to do it like an NNL East, come on down, bring your models. We're going to have some vendors. Well, you still got to rent the hall.
Yeah.
You're still going to have tables to put models on for people to look at them.
Yeah.
So all you've really eliminated is, say, $2,000 for awards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're at $4,000.
Right. You're still at $4,000, you know? And then we find a canteen truck to come so people have stuff to eat and all that stuff. But if we had to have a cop for the day, that would blow our budget. We wouldn't be able to do a show.
Yeah. See,
You
that's the thing. It's not as easy. And I'll be the first to admit that when we interviewed Ricky, and I said, yeah, I'm honestly thinking about doing something like this. I didn't ask him any of the financials, like off air before recording or any of that. I didn't ask that. It's none of my business. I did ask him how long he planned, and he said he within a couple months because he's impatient. But dude, there's a lot to it that you don't think about until you actually start the process. And the hall that I would rent is with my discount about what our hall cost.
Yeah.
And that's, and then, it's just, there's a lot to it. And it's like, do I have the ability to put something like this on? You really have to commit to something like that.
Yeah. I
You really
find
have
that
to.
I see some cars and coffee things online,
Yeah.
but 98% of them are outside.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
do you want to bring your models and put them on a table outside?
Well, that's where mine was, the one that I had here. I didn't realize the time frame, right? So it just shot it out of the water, being only 2 hours long.
Yeah.
But that's why ours was kind of cool, because of the shop. They have this big, huge warehouse as big as a football field.
Yeah.
That's enclosed, air conditioned, with bathrooms where they display like some of the owners' cars and some, and they'll let you go in and look at these cars during the Cars and Coffee show. So in my mind, I was like, well, we could set tables up in there, and then it would bring viewership to the shop, get exposure, whatever. Because they're very, very fair on their pricing. I mean, like fractions of what you guys are talking about, as it is right now. But if I had to have them move them cars out of that building and go from there, then it might, then they're going to be like, well, we got to pay somebody to do that, and it might go up from there. But
I think it's like anything else. It's like building a model car. You buy the model kit's $20. Oh wait, I need glue. There's $5. Oh wait,
exactly.
I need paint. There's another $10.
Before
you know it escalates. So I think with anything that you do, there's always an unforeseen cost. I remember 20 years ago when I redid my kitchen, we tore it right down to the studs. We moved the walls, we moved doors, we moved windows, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My wife was like, "Wow, this is adding up fast." And I said to her, she said in the beginning, "What do you think it's going to cost?" I said, "It's going to be about probably $20,000, $25,000." That much? And I said, "Well, it's probably going to be 15 or 16, but the rest is for stuff that we don't see that's going to happen."
Yeah.
Well, sure as shit, we had the plumber come in. Oh wait, no, we need to do this. There's an extra $1,000. We need to do that. The big eye opening for us, we had the cabinets, had everything all done and everything, and we went to the store for her to buy the handles for the cabinets for the doors. She picks out all the handles she wants, and she walks up to the register, and the girl says $385. My wife turned pure white. And I said, "See, honey, these are the things I told you don't realize."
Exactly.
It's the unforeseen cost that you don't realize is there.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
Yep. You don't always think about that stuff. But
you don't.
I used to have a customer that when I had my one-to-one shop that was getting a lot of custom work done, and he asked me one of the greatest questions that I've ever been asked, and I've asked it to many before. So we're talking about everything, got everything laid out as the way, all the questions to ask. And he would look at me and be like, all right, what question am I not asking that I need to know about?
Yeah.
And that gets what you're saying, the unforeseen stuff.
Right.
I always thought that was a great way of putting it.
Yeah. That was like when we were, I can't say when we were building my big Jeep, because we've done that 3 times over, right?
Yeah.
But each time that we can't say we, because Heather and I are a team. Each time we did that, there was always that, well, we took this apart and this is broken. So we need to add this to the list.
Yeah.
And because we added that to the list, it changed this other thing.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
it does. It adds up so ridiculously fast.
Yeah.
It does.
When I first built my first Chevelle with the blower on it,
Yeah.
and the guys I hung out with and I raced with, they were friends with this speed shop in Malden called PV Speed. And we knew the manager there, Mike, and this kid, Tim, had a 442. All great guys, all good guys. So when I was building my motor, I would say to Mike, how much is this going to cost? And he just would look at me and smile and go, thousands and thousands.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
Happy Easter, Ed. Go for it. Paintings here. KBCC
Oh, nice.
Garage.
Hello, Ed.
And I apologize. I missed you on the show, the Thursday night show, brother. I wouldn't if I look at it this way. You wouldn't be able to see me as well as you do now if I didn't work that shift, man. I apologize for not being there with you guys. I did get to listen in a little bit, so you guys did a great job. And again, my apologies, brother. We'll get you back on and be able to. Maybe I can ask you some questions. I don't know if you guys, Jason, if you or Tim, if you guys were paying attention 2 weeks ago. It's Thursday afternoon. I'm work 12 hours, and I get a phone call that one of my bosses calls and says, "Hey, man, so-and-so didn't show up to do this turn lane. Now we have to do the turn lane at night because we have to shut down traffic." And he's like, I'm like, "Dude, I just worked 12 hours. He said, "Well, you can take tomorrow off." I said, "So then I don't gain anything by doing that, right?" Because it turns out to be, the same amount of time or same amount of pay. I just crammed it into one day instead of two. And he was like, "Well, they're going to pay you double time." I'm like, "Okay, now you're really starting to get my attention."
Yeah.
And if you can get up and go to work and be productive on Friday, we'll let you get up and go to work and be productive on Friday. I'm like, all right. So I worked 12 hours Thursday, 10 hours Thursday night, 12 hours Friday, but I missed the show on Thursday night when Ed was in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My days of working shifts like that are over.
The only reason I did it is I was running the motor grader, which meant I didn't have to get off that motor grader. I just sat there. They did 90% of the work, and then I would come along and just get it to finish grade.
Yeah.
And come back. So I didn't have to get off the machine. I didn't have to do nothing. But at double time, I made $700 in 10 hours, which paid for half of this, well, a third of this tower that I'm using now, and it would put me over the edge in my account to be able to buy this computer, and I wanted it bad enough, so I'm like, I'm to stick it out and make it happen.
Yeah, it was a couple of winters ago, 2 winters ago, we had got hit with an icy cold blast of air, right? So it was like -30 without the wind. And it was my on-call weekend at work. So I left Friday at 3:30, was back to work and worked. I ended up working over 40 hours Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Me and my boss, thank God, he was there for 75% of that with me because he's the plumber. He's the licensed plumber. And we had like 18 buildings froze up and split. It was insane. Insane.
I remember that because I talked to you a few days after and you were like a zombie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jason, how are you?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You couldn't even talk. You were so tired.
Yeah. I mean, the paycheck was pretty good, but
yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what motivated me, was to be able to push through that tiredness, just to wait for, because I kept telling myself, new computer.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Tim, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's all right. I've worked 60 hours a week since I was 18, because that's just the automotive world.
Yeah, that's me. I work 60 hours a week.
Every day except for Sunday, 8 to 6. Thank God I got out of it. I got out of it a couple years ago. So
I work 5/12s, Monday through Friday, but because I'm in the construction business, I do that on purpose. Because if I'm in the construction business and it rains, and
Yeah.
we can't work that day, then I
Yeah.
come in on Saturday to make it up. But my goal is 5 12-hour days.
Yeah. Yeah. Long days, my friend. Long days.
It makes for long days. Fortunately, you know, the people I've worked for in the past, it's an old company. So there was this one company that existed, went out of business, and the people from that company started another business. So it's all old hat.
Yeah.
And they know me and respect me, and they know I'm not the guy that's going to be shoveling a ditch out all day long. I'm not your guy. But if you need something graded off, smoothed off, dirt moved, I can make that happen.
Yeah.
Shut the door and start pushing dirt. But
Yeah.
and they know that, right? So they know if there's something that needs to be physically done, that Mike's probably not your guy. But you send somebody over there, and Mike will make sure that that guy gets the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I used to tell everybody the hardest part for me was always in the wintertime. I leave the house at 6:30 in the morning and I'd get home 6:30 at night. It'd be pitch dark when I left and pitch dark when I got home.
Right.
Same thing. It's the same thing down here because that's my shift, 6:30 to 6:30.
Yeah.
Actually, it's 6:30 to 7. I take a half an hour lunch, but at the same time, it's the same. Now here in the summertime, it's different. It's daylight now till almost 9 o'clock at night. So
yeah. Yeah.
Happy Easter, Mr. Lawless.
Absolutely. Got a lot of faces in here that are at least relatively new. KBCC Garage. I'm not sure if I've seen him before. Welcome,
That's old
Gary.
Cliff.
Cliff.
Yep, old Cliff.
Gary Parker. That name looks new to me. So welcome, Gary. Welcome to the show. Rick Zink. That name I know. Everybody knows Papa Z.
Exactly.
In fact, Skilly's over there hanging out on my Death Bay paintbrush. Oh, no, that name too. Mr. BG.
Mr. BG?
Yep, he says he's got a bounce. Wishes everybody a happy Easter. Happy Easter, BG.
Well, don't bounce too hard. That might hurt. You might want to go spend some time with the family. Oh, look at this. Mr. Matthew Inman is in the house. Hello,
there he
Matthew.
is. There he is. We were just talking about you, my brother. Shh. Don't say all the bad stuff about him now. He can hear us.
Oh, now there's no bad stuff to say about Matthew.
That's it. Jeff, when you get here, brother, I know I said it before, but when you get down here to Florida, hit us up, man. If you're going to Daytona, you're not going to be that far from me. Next weekend is Jeep Beach, so y'all can expect a bunch of Jeep videos next week on the channel. But after that, I'm wide open, brother. So come on down. Speaking of Matthew Inman, Jason, we got to get him back in here. He said that when he was in here, that was the last time he had 2 hours to work on stuff.
Wow.
Sometimes we got to steal him away from his day job and make him come on here to build models.
Right?
I sent him a message this morning, Happy Easter and all. I told him, I said, don't sell all of them dang pulling tractors because I got 2 of them that I'm saving up for. I want that Allison pulling tractor and that turbo pulling tractor. Those things are super cool.
I'm actually going to start mine this week.
You got the 5 Hemi one, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
That thing looks cool too.
Yeah.
Start mine this week. I've been trying to brainstorm before I get going on it, right? Ways to make magnetos for each one of those Hemis, because I'm not going to do a buttload of detailing on this, but you got to at least wire those things, right? Because there's 5 of them. They're hanging out there for everybody to see. You got to put some sort of like a bright yellow plug wire on it, right? So I figured it out. I went and bought the styrene rod to cut down and drill and like make my own magnetos. So now that I got that figured out, I'm going to start that this week.
Building your own is great, but a pro tip I'll give you is you heard of Conacher, right? You know who Conacher is?
I got Conacher distributors here, but I was also thinking, do I want to spend $50 plus shipping when I can go to Hobby Lobby and buy styrene rod for $4.99, and I already have the wire to make them.
There you go. There you go. But on this motor that I'm doing for the 68 Dart, it's got one of their magnetos on it, and it is really nice.
I bought, oh gosh, I found Conacher at, man, where was it? JacksCon, I think. Is
I was
where
gonna say you were down in Florida.
Yeah.
and then
He's out of Florida. Yeah.
Yeah, I bought a handful of distributors there, brought them home. The things they're, in my opinion, the best pre-wired distributor you can get. So,
Yep.
like this right here is a Conacher, and I'm going to show.
And their mags are just as nice. The magnetos are just as nice.
Yeah. So I'll show you what we got here if I can get this thing out of the thing. So this is a Conacher distributor.
That thing is
Okay. So that is, in my opinion, the best looking, and you can get black cap, tan cap, black cap,
red.
and red. I thought you could get I think that's it. But and then of course all the
yellow
wires, right?
You can get the yellow, like the Excel yellow.
Yeah. And it comes with boots for the other end.
Yeah, I love mine.
Yeah, I actually, it was a few months ago, I got on and placed an order with them and got another handful. And I use them in everything that I build, except for the Jag Saloon that I just finished like a month or two ago. I used what did I use? Did I use a ProTech distributor for that?
If I'm not mistaken,
I used a ProTech distributor for that, but it was smaller in diameter.
Okay, because I had been told, and I don't know it to be fact, and I haven't checked it, but I was told that those Conachers are built off of the ProTech kit. I could be wrong though.
Oh, okay.
Because the guy that sells Conacher is the big distributor for ProTech down here in Florida. Charlie?
Oh, no kidding.
Yep.
Good.
Nice guy. Super nice guy. Super nice guy. Take it easy, Jeff. Shaggy, yeah, whenever we so it's Conacher, Conniker, correct?
Yes.
Yes. But Shaggy's up there in the Panhandle, so we definitely on our way through we get Jeff, and I might load up and go up there and hang out with Shaggy. We'll come up with something even if it's wrong. But I didn't know Shaggy was in the Panhandle. It's not too far from me.
How far are you on to Orlando?
I'm about 45, 50 miles north of Orlando. And depending on traffic, it can be an hour and 15 minutes, or it can be 3.5 hours. Depends on when you're leaving Orlando.
My older brother lives in Fort Myers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where that is.
That is,
I was there.
Florida. That's in Florida, Tim.
Yeah.
It's in Florida.
Yeah.
My
older brother just retired, and he worked in NASCAR for over 20 years. He worked for Brad Keselowski.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He retired and moved back to Florida. He was a catch can man at one time. He was a jack man, I think, for a while. He used to do that over the wall crazy shit.
All right. Yeah, Fort Myers is a good trip from me. It's way south of I thought it was. It's down there by Sanibel Island, Naples. That's a pretty good haul from me.
Yeah.
Go down there and see the Sox play, do you, from time to time?
You can. I know the area, Shaggy. I used to haul back and forth when I was driving truck. I used to haul across I-10 all the time. That is a lonely stretch of road. From I-10, Florida, Jacksonville, Florida to California is the longest road ever. I don't care about the miles. I'm telling you, it's the longest road ever. If you don't think so, get on the east coast of Texas on I-10 and start driving west on I-10. When you hit the west coast, which is the state line on the other side, it's like 11 hours later, and there's nothing in between.
Wow.
It's just a long drive from nowhere.
It sounds like a long drive. Sounds like a long, miserable drive.
I remember years ago, for a local guy that drag raced out here, I went to Fort Wayne, Indiana, to Lingenfelter's shop to pick up an engine for him. And there were stretches of road that just looked like they'd never end. You look down the road, and it was just like the end of the horizon would be. And it was nothing but cornfields the whole way for like 3 hours. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. It's nuts.
Yeah, crazy.
Of course, you go across I-10, that's all swamp out there, right? So every 10 feet, they build the roads out of concrete. So every 10 feet, you got the crack that they cut in it so that it'll flex. So every 10 feet, especially in a big truck.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
There goes my lens.
That's why we don't have nice things, Jason.
I know. At least this one didn't break. I did that one time. It hit the floor and snapped into 3 pieces.
Well, let's get a little business done. If you're in the chat, please hit the like button for us. That helps with the algorithm, gets us out there to more model builders. So we've got like 65 in here now. I don't know how many likes we got, but please, on your way out, hit the like button for us.
Yeah, I don't know who this algorithm is, but he helps us out a lot. So
he does.
Yeah, who is that guy, Algorithm?
I don't know who he is, but he has a lot to do with what we do.
Yeah, he does. He's a pretty powerful guy.
He must hang with all those guys that are they. I don't know what they say, but
yeah, right.
Who are they?
I don't know.
They hang out. Listen, they hang out with all the we guys.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah.
Well, at least they're not alone, because I've actually heard him pick on himself about it. But we have a fella on screen right now that talks about, well, we worked on this kit, and then he goes, wait a minute, I worked on this kit.
I tease him about that all the time, and a lot of guys do it. I think it's just a natural thing. They'll say,
right,
well, we went ahead and did this, and we went ahead. So I messaged Jason. I said, how many people you got working in that shop?
Right.
Yeah. And it was funny. I think how I responded to that was, I have 2 employees, a redhead and a guy that always shows up in a tuxedo.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So that would be the 2 cats, in case you guys don't watch my channel. I have an orange tabby and a tuxedo cat.
Yeah.
And they're always in here causing all sorts of havoc and discontent.
Listen, if you're not subscribed to Jason's channel, you got to go and at least scroll back to where he's building a model with an orange cat sitting on his head.
Yeah.
You can't even look up at the camera, right? He's making a video and he has to look up with his eyes because his cat is sitting directly on his head. That, my friend, was a hilarious video.
Yeah. Yeah, well, chassis done, interior's done, body's done, engine's about 50%. Any luck this week, this thing will be done.
Very cool. See, being on here has helped.
Yeah.
Now I know where you get it, Jason. You know, I don't know, Tim, if you've ever heard the story, but we did the 48-hour group build here last year. Yeah, I guess it was last year. And Jason was in there, and we're about 24 hours into it, and we're all up on the Discord, and everybody's, busting butt to get their stuff done and having fun and hanging out. And I look over at Jason. He's laid back in his chair, got his feet up on the desk. We're looking at the bottom of his shoes, and I'm like, dude, you're not working on your keys? I'm all done. I said, well, aren't you an overachiever?
Yes. Yeah.
And now I know where he got it from. Sounds like you're an overachiever too.
Yeah. I don't know about that, but
I'm a slow builder.
Listen, you can talk to almost anybody that is in my personal life, and they will attest to the fact that I am definitely not an overachiever. Okay. I just manage my time very well.
Yeah. My problem is most times I move like a pack of wild guppies. So,
Right. I can relate to that. I move like a herd of snails.
yeah. Be careful. They're known to charge, you can be in trouble.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. Scary stuff. Well, like we said at the beginning of this, I it's been 2 weeks since I've touched a model. 2
Yeah.
full weeks. And this week isn't looking very promising for me because I've got, of course, more outside yard cleanup to do. Still getting Ryan to and from driver's ed. It's like,
Yeah.
That to me is nuts. An hour drive to carry your son to a driver's ed. They don't have anything
it's
closer.
the only school we could get him into before next September.
Wow.
They were all booked, and we were lucky because this school that we got him into, we got him in because they had somebody drop out of a class.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Well, you've been up there, Mike. He's in the middle of nowhere.
He is that. But I went to school in driver's ed I did down here. But I can remember up there. Tim, I don't know if you know, but I was born in Vermont.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Nope.
and went to up till the very beginning of my freshman year and to school up there. And I remember that those guys, driver's ed was part of the school thing. Like you went to school and it was a class.
Yeah, exactly. Me too.
But they wanted you to get your driver's license so you could go to work.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, my high school didn't have driver's ed. I had to go to an outside school.
That's that New Hampshire.
It is.
And like I said, if it wasn't for Stratton Mountain, that little town, Stratton Mountain and the only surviving Lincoln child, that little town wouldn't have been known for. Well, I guess it. What's his name? The famous painter lived there for a while too. What was his name? Not Orville. Painted all the like the baseball scenes. A little girl with the black eyes sitting outside the principal's office. What was his name?
Norman Rockwell?
Yeah, Norman Rockwell. That's him. Norman Rockwell. Yeah.
Did you say Lincoln Child is from there?
Well, the oldest Lincoln boy, the one that lives there or lived there. Of course, he's gone now, but their house has still been preserved, and he lived there in Manchester. And like I said, the painter lived there. In fact, my grandmother used to serve him breakfast.
Wow.
There's a diner scene where they're all listening when the war is over, and they're all listening to it. That diner scene was painted based off of the diner that my grandmother worked at.
Wow, that's cool.
Okay, that is pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. He actually lived in a little town called Arlington, which was just south of us between Manchester and Bennington.
Yeah.
And his house is still there. They preserved his house, and it's still there, right next to a covered bridge. Literally, you got to go across the covered bridge to get to his house. It's pretty neat, man, the history that's there.
That is cool.
And I think it was Tad Lincoln, I think, was the one that lived there. It's whatever son lived, because he had one that died when he was young and then one that lived.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. And then, of course, Stratton Mountain's the biggest thing. That's the Norman Rockwell, right, Chris?
Right.
Norman Rockwell or Stratton Mountain is where all the money's at. And you know how those ski lodges. You live up there, Jason, and you too, Tim. You know how those ski lodges are. They have everything, right?
Yeah. It's funny you just said, the war was ending. My wife is from Scotland, and she has a letter, 2 letters signed by her mother, has them on the wall. Her grandmother, so my mother-in-law's grandmother,
Right.
her husband was in one of the wars, probably World War I at this point. But he was in one of the wars, and both letters are dated the same day. He wrote her a letter, things are going good, I'm hope to be home soon, love you, blah, 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 like 3 paragraphs.
Right.
And the same day, she got a registered letter from the Army saying he died.
Dang.
Oh,
Isn't that crazy?
That is nuts.
And another thing that's kind of cool, my father-in-law, who passed away a year ago, they're from Scotland, obviously, and he was huge in the Scottish history. So he used to buy books online and everything about Scottish and everything. Now his father was a bus driver, and his job was to pick up all the miners from all the little villages and bring them home at night and stuff, right?
Okay.
So he orders this book from Scotland about the little villages and the mining towns, and the cover of the book is a bus coming at you, and it's his father driving the bus.
No way. That's too cool.
And he had no idea that was the cover of the book.
That is too cool.
So now I built a model of that Revell, that London bus, the double-decker bus.
Mm-hmm.
I had it for years. I showed it to my father-in-law, and he was excited and everything. But when I bought it, I was not even close to ready to building it. So I built it, and I finished it. And 2 days before I was supposed to show it to him, he died.
Oh man.
So
Yeah.
So I said to my mother-in-law, I bought a big case for the bus. I asked my mother-in-law if I can have that book. And she said, of course you can. So in the case with the bus is that book of my wife's great-grandfather.
That's cool.
Bus, it's the only model that's displayed in another part of the house other than my hobby room.
Yeah.
Because it has family meaning to it. So
Right.
but it's kind of cool.
That is way cool. Anytime you can tie history to something that you build, even though you know there obviously was years apart, but you know that's what I dig about these guys that are building some of these tanks and aircraft. Right? They really get into it. Like there's an early this and a late that, and
Yeah.
and if it served here, it would have had these markings. If it served there, it would have had these markings. And those guys, man, they get into that stuff, and they really know a lot about different tracks for different types of year and different locations and all that. I think that's really cool, man.
The knowledge that some of those guys have is just incredible. Like I say, it's not my thing, but it doesn't mean I can't appreciate every ounce of it. You know,
I'm the same way. I just listen and I'm like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah. Because those guys, they're so knowledgeable. I've actually bought some stuff from the guy they always talk about. Who's the guy, Jason, with the luggage and stuff, the storage?
Oh, that's I know who you're talking about. Value gear.
Value gear. Yep.
Yeah, I bought some stuff from him. That like this police car's got a lunchbox on the floor beside the console because he's a cop. He's on the highway. He needs to eat.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I've got 2 pieces of value gear right here that I painted up for this Blazer that I decided not to use. Right. So because I decided to fill the back of it with subwoofers instead. But
yeah.
I mean that's a piece of value gear right there.
Yeah.
So cool.
Right. That's base coated. It's got to be shadowed and made to look like real, but that's
yeah.
And then there's a lunchbox.
Yeah. That's the same one I got my police car.
It's like
cool.
He makes some really cool 1/24 scale stuff.
Yeah.
It's not just military stuff. So
well, in that rally car that I just built for the rally group build, in the back, it's got these little pouches. It's a piece of rubber that came with the kit that goes where the back of the back seat would be. It's got like 6 little pouches. So I bought some of the tools from him and stuff, and I painted them up, and I put those in those little pouches and everything.
That's cool.
I put a duffel bag behind the seat. Stuff is awesome.
Exactly.
Stuff is awesome. It's not just for military. You can use it for everything.
Yeah.
You
Matter of fact, I had when I built my tank, my Patton for the turkey shoot last year. I used some of the 1/24th scale value gear stuff on a 1/35th scale tank. It looks fine.
Yeah.
You can't really tell that it's unless you're like maybe some of the armor guys could tell it's too big.
Yeah.
But to me, it looks great on there.
Yeah. Well, I think with the armor stuff, I mean, some tanks are cool looking, some don't. It's like anything else, like a certain car. You look at it and go, oh, I like that. And then someone else might not like it or whatever,
Exactly.
So I bought a tank. It's from the Korean War. It's a Sherman. And I listened to those guys talk. And I think Rivers always talking about a Stug.
Yeah, he loves to build the Stugs.
Yeah.
That's his.
I had no idea what he was talking about. So I finally had to Google it and look at it and see what it was and everything. So you'll learn a little bit listening to those guys as well. Little history lessons and all that. I mean, I can't believe how knowledgeable they are about all that stuff. It's awesome. But I bought that tank because I like the way it looked. My problem is with the military stuff is when I see a car, I want to build it the way I want it. If I want a blue with purple stripes, well, that's what I want. I want to paint bunnies down the side of it. Well, with a tank, you really can't do that. You should theoretically build it.
Yeah,
like it
replica
should
style.
be,
Yeah.
You know, so
There is people out there that do it though. They'll you know, kind of modify it up because they did put those tanks. You know, they demilitarized them and then put those tanks, you know, different shows and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, got a little crazy with it. But you're right. When you're building a military aircraft or a tank, you're building more of a replica than you are. You don't have much
Right.
artist leeway. But
right.
Sam, real quick, buddy. No, I am not going to make it to Pelican next Saturday. I will be in Daytona for Jeep Beach. I got a bunch of friends that invited me over there to that, so I will be over there Friday, Saturday, and come back home Sunday. Happy Easter to you, Chuck. So sorry, I'm going to have to miss out on that one. I do plan on Pam's Con, which will probably be my next show. It will be Pam's Con down there in at the Strawberry Fields. Happy Easter, Rick. Have a good night, buddy.
See you, Rick.
We are getting close to that time, aren't we, fellas?
What? Yeah, we got about 4 minutes before it's time to
Shut her
wrap
down.
this up.
Well, we can utilize our 4 minutes. Tim, normally on the last few minutes of the show, we give people an opportunity to plug everything, but obviously you don't. You said you don't have a YouTube channel and don't do much on Facebook, but do you have anybody you want to give a shout out to or shows, anything along that line, anything you want to plug or
No,
mention?
really. You know, if guys don't watch this, please do. If they don't watch the one on Thursday, please do.
Mhm.
Listen to the Scale Model podcast. Give the other guys a shot. You know,
Right. Absolutely, check them out.
there's some good stuff out there. You know, even just for entertainment value. You know,
Right, it is.
the Insanity guys, they're funny they're really funny. They're
funny.
good, and you'll learn stuff. You know, so
Yeah.
Absolutely.
just thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Well, you would you like to come back on next Sunday? I mean, like I said, we'd love to have you as a regular if you
Yeah.
can make it fit your schedule.
Yeah, we can do that.
Absolutely, we'll be sending you another invite next Sunday.
Okay.
When we do sign off, don't hang up right away. We do a little bit of behind the scenes stuff, so
Okay.
that sounds good. Yeah, sorry, Mike. Man, we
I
start
was
this.
going to say, poor Mike. I think he does this every week.
We start this one at 4 Eastern Standard, and then go to about 6 o'clock. But Mike, we always love having you on, man. You're a great supporter of everything. I think all of us do. I know he
Yeah.
shows up. He shows up on the Thursday night AMC livecast. So thank you for all your support in the hobby, Mike.
Yes, and I think Mike has at least supplied Tim and I with some kits that we definitely wanted, but definitely didn't need. Right?
Yeah. Oh, Mike. Yeah. Yeah. Mike's a great guy. Great
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
I wonder if he might be going to RTS. I don't know if he's going to RTS or not.
I don't know.
Mike, you going to RTS?
Yeah, right. Let us know.
I got to tell you, Mike did something that was very, very nice on his channel. Mike's Mods and Customs. Check it out.
Uh-huh.
Mike's a nice guy. His wife is wonderful. We see them at all the shows. They used to live here. They live in New York. So anyway, he did a thing on his show, his channel. He was giving away a kit. You know, he showed a bunch of kits, and you know he was going to pick one winner, but he wanted to know what kit you wanted, and he gave like 20 kits, and he gave all those people, everybody who participated, he gave them all the kit.
Oh wow, that is awesome.
I thought that was
That's
amazing.
really cool.
Because
That is very
I
cool.
picked an S10 Extreme, an old AMT
Yeah.
kit, because my little brother had one, and I never see the kit anywhere. And we were at PatCon was it PatCon last year? Or it might have been, it was Down East.
Okay.
It was Down East Con. No, what's the other one that's up north? Granite Con.
It's one of the cons.
It's one of the cons.
It was Granite Con because he knows a bunch of those guys.
Yeah.
And he handed me the kit, and I said, "What's this for?" He said, "Well, you participated in the video." I said, "Yeah, but," I said, "somebody else won." He goes, "No." He goes, "Everybody won." He goes, "Everybody that participated, I gave them the kit that they picked."
That's,
that's awesome.
I thought
very
that
cool.
was pretty amazing. Yeah,
That is.
Yeah.
Good on you, Mike.
yeah. Mike's a nice guy.
He
Mike
just
is not going to be at RTS, but
He's not going to be. Yeah.
he said it was your
he
show,
will be.
Plastic.
Oh, was
he
it
says
Classic
he will be
Plastic?
at Classic Plastic, so that's good.
Yeah. I said to him he should come to our show. I said, it's all car guys, and he sells a lot of car stuff. He said out in New York where his store is, he doesn't sell a lot of car stuff, a lot of Gundam.
Yeah, Gundams across the board. Yeah, I think that's the wave. I want to choose my words carefully. I don't think the hobby, the rest of the hobby is going to shut down and everybody's going to Gundams. But right now, in Japan and Asia and where Gundams are really big, those are the kits that are being sold in such a quantity that your Tamiyas and all that can still afford to put the cars and the tanks out. They are definitely the hottest topic, at least overseas.
You know what amazes me about some of those Gundam kits? You can have one piece out of one of those kits molded in 3 different colors.
Yeah,
that's absolutely that blows my mind whenever I see that.
Yeah,
I've seen their sprues. Half of it's yellow, the other half's red, and then over here is chrome or whatever. Yeah, it's pretty amazing how they do that.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Well, you want to go next, Jason?
Yeah,
I know you got some plugs to give.
Yeah, I'll wrap it up. Everybody, obviously, Jason from the Blue Ox. You are watching on my channel, so you know how to find me there. But I have a Facebook group, Blue Ox Model Shop. I'm on Instagram, same name. Check out the podcast I do. It's this little thing with some buddies of mine, the Scale Model Car Podcast. That drops an episode roughly every other Friday, roughly-ish, depending on the guy that does the editing and how quick he can get it done. Yep. And then, of course, check us out here every Sunday.
Absolutely. I want to give a big shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you, guys. That chat was rolling today.
It was.
Thank you, Tim. Welcome. We look forward to having you back on. Hopefully you get to be a regular. And we definitely enjoy your input. You've been very informative, and we appreciate you for sure. And to echo what Jason and everybody was saying, go check out the Scale Model Car Podcast. Check out the Insanity Podcast, their Discord as well. Jason and the Scale Model Car Podcast has a Discord. Be sure and check that out. And of course, on Thursday nights, you can find me on the AMC Livecast. That's Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, on my channel, the Scale Model Outlaw. I do not have much of an Instagram, so basically, it's the YouTube channel Scale Model Outlaw and the Facebook channel Scale Model Outlaw. Again, thank you guys. Appreciate it. And we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Same time, same channel.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Good night. Thanks, everybody.
Y'all be good or be good at it. And here's your big old thumbs up. Night, all.
Good night.
See ya. Happy Easter.